The views or opinions expressed on Ann Arbor Inclusive do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the City of Ann Arbor and the Commission on Disability Issues. For more information about the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues, please visit a2gov.org/disability resources.
Hello everyone and welcome to Ann Arbor Inclusive. I'm Zach Damon. We have a wonderful show for you today as Erin McMahon of Michigan Partners of Freedom joins us in studio. Erin, thank you so much for joining me, and let's get started, shall we? So, you are a leader for Michigan Partners of Freedom, or a local leader, as you say, and you present about self-determination and person-centered planning. Well, can you tell us what is Michigan Partners of Freedom, and why is self-determination a topic that is important to you?
So Michigan Partners for Freedom has different local leaders out in other areas of different communities, and for me though, particularly me, it's kind of like, well, I could say like probably I choose what I want to do. And I want people to choose what they want to do with their life around the community.
Yeah, I mean, personal choice is very important. And of course, independence is very important. So as a person with a disability, I mean, have you found it, easy to choose what you want to do in life, or pretty difficult?
I'm going to use the word difficult. Because it is difficult for other people out in the community, just like me. And with people with disabilities, though, Zach, it's kind of like people don't really look at them as a real person. They look at them as a disability. And I don't think that's right.
No, yeah, it's definitely not. I mean, I would agree with you there. So how do you remedy that? I mean, when you're going through, daily life and kind of you experience that, and it's got to be tough. How do you get through that? Is it more about attitude, or is it about, self-esteem, or is it both? I mean,
I'm going to use the word both.
Both, yeah. And how important is having a positive attitude when having any challenge, whether it's a disability or not? How important is that to you, do you think?
It's really important to me and my friends.
And so how do you keep that attitude all the time? How do you stay positive on those tough days? I mean, that's got to be extremely tough.
Well, it is tough, Zach, but by doing karate, and I have a therapist who helps me to keep myself in a positive way.
That's awesome. And speaking of karate, I hear that you're a black belt in karate. Is that true?
I'm a first-degree black belt.
Oh, first-degree black belt, excuse me. And so that is amazing. I mean, what got you interested in karate, and why did you choose to get into martial arts?
Well, my best friend, her name is Marie Therese Arsrak. She got me involved.
Oh, wonderful.
And it's because she noticed that I was talking back to my people, and I wasn't really happy about it.
And so how long does it take someone to attain a black belt?
It takes a lot of hard work and discipline.
And how long have you studied karate? For many years?
I'm not really sure about years, but it took like months.
Oh wow, no, that's amazing. And it's something that you guys are a team too, right? It's not just an individual sport, or is it more individual, or how does that work? Is there a team aspect to it, do you think?
Well, it is like a team effort because it's a good way to make friends. And like for me though, I love doing karate, and it helps me, and it might help with other people.
Now, would you recommend karate to other people with disabilities?
Oh, yes.
And would you say that it's definitely a benefit?
It is a benefit.
And it helps keep you in shape too, right? I mean, how important is physical fitness when having a disability? Do you think it's important?
Yes.
And why would you say it's important?
It's kind of important because being more active and losing weight, if people like me have Down syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
it's harder to lose weight, but if you keep active, eating healthy, you can really lose weight.
Oh yeah, no, that's wonderful, and of course, I think it's great that you promote that and promote activity and promote physical fitness, and hopefully, you know, you've enjoyed karate and all that stuff. So that's wonderful. Now, aside from, you know, your work with Michigan Partners of Freedom, you're also the chair of the Washtenaw Regional Inclusive Community Coalition, or RIC as they call it. So what is RIC, and how can others become involved?
Well, good question, Zach. It's like the RIC. I'm the chairperson for the Washtenaw RIC, and we have a work plan that we have, and I know everybody is probably suffering with different kind of issues like transportation, public policy, transportation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wasn't sure if I said that more than once.
No, no, that's all right. I mean, excuse me, but transportation probably has to be quite the issue. It's probably pretty paramount for people with disabilities, is it not?
Well, yeah, because if people live in Ipsy, it's really hard to get an A ride to do stuff around Ann Arbor side.
Mm-hmm. And you've done a lot with the Ann Arbor Transportation Authority, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so what have you done with them in terms of lobbying for transportation? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, the person I always talk to is Brian Klaus, who works at the ATA.
Yeah.
That's a new name now.
Oh, okay. And so how do you feel about the AATA now and how they operate? Do you feel, you know, good about the services and good about the transportation in the city? I've heard it's one of the better transportation systems. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. I'm glad to hear about it. So going back, though, to Rick and what you do with them, how can one sort of reach out to Rick if they want to become involved? Is there a website that they can go to, or can they call someone?
Well, I am the chairperson, so that means they can contact me
Oh, okay,
if they want.
okay,
We do have a Facebook page, and I think it's like washcowick@gmail.com.
okay.
That's my email address. And I have a Facebook page for the Washtenaw RIC.
Okay, wonderful. And so they have a link then that they can go to and sort of join the group and find out when the meetings are. And do you post meeting minutes as well on that?
Well, not really the minutes, but I do
Okay.
post the meeting time, days, and where.
Okay, great. So if they go to that Facebook page, they can find out all they need to about the RIC. That's awesome. And of course, they don't just have a RIC in Washtenaw County, right? They have them all over Michigan. Is that true?
It's actually statewide.
Oh, is that right? Wow, statewide. So, of course, if you're outside Ann Arbor, but from Ann Arbor and want to get involved in a RIC, you can do so in other parts of Michigan. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. So aside from being a disability advocate, you're also a noted public speaker. So can you talk a little bit about some past experience that you've had with public speaking, and also maybe your favorite memory of public speaking so far?
Well, a long time ago, when Sherry Fernandez was the president of the ACA, she kind of asked me to present, and I was like, sure. And I really like presenting. And I remembered, I think these two other people are from Michigan Partners for Freedom, came out to come and watch me present. And then when I was done, you know, they came up to me saying, hey, you sounded really good.
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to do a paid job for Michigan Partners for Freedom? And I said, sure.
Wow, so because you were doing public speaking at an event, you were actually recruited to speak and get paid for it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wow, that is amazing. See, I mean, wow. And so how did that make you feel when you got recruited and asked to public speak and for Michigan Partners of Freedom? And
I felt happy and I feel wanted
mm-hmm.
out
That's
in the
awesome.
community.
Well, no, and it's a great field. I mean, they say, right, that public speaking is one of the hardest skills that anybody can do. And here you are, a professional public speaker, getting paid for it. That is just amazing, Erin.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So do you have any public speaking engagements coming up in the future?
Well, not yet.
Not yet? Well, I mean, but people can hire you, right? If they want you to come and speak or speak, you know, at an elementary school about, you know, self-determination and things like that, can they contact you and hire you for that?
It's not just hiring me. It's
Okay.
mostly they look at the Michigan Partners of Freedom, and they can talk to Jill. I don't remember her last name.
Okay.
And Pat Carver
Okay.
and Sherry Boyd.
Okay.
She's kind of new,
Okay.
but they can. When people want to ask me to present, those three people can arrange things
Okay.
for me.
No, that's great. So aside from doing all this stuff, because it sounds like you're extremely busy and advocating a lot for people with disabilities around not just Ann Arbor, but around the state of Michigan, what do you like to do for fun?
Well, I have a hobby
Yeah?
for fun. I make my own book,
Wow. So you're writing your own book.
typing.
Oh, typing it. Wow. So you're not only just writing your own book, but you're also the physical author. You're writing the book. Man.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell me a little bit about the book?
Sure. The title of my book is my life through journey.
Wow. Your life through journey?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So can you talk a little bit about kind of what you've wrote so far? Or do you not want to say anything because you want the readers to read the whole story? We don't want to spoil it.
No, you don't have to spoil it.
No, we don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but I'm still working on chapter 1 right now.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm trying to finish.
No, sure. But you have to tell me when it comes out because I'd like to be one of the first to come to your book signings and get it signed. To say that I knew the author.
Whenever I finish my book, I'm gonna call Angie, my brother's fiance.
Oh, okay.
No, because she knows somebody as a publisher.
Oh, that's great. Wow. So moving up. Well, once you are done with this biography, do you want to write other books in the future?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, what interested you in wanting to write this book and wanting to write your biography?
Well, I'm doing this because I got involved with this meetup group class.
Oh, okay.
They call it Writing Together.
Wow.
And I was listening to other writers, and I got inspired.
Wow. Now, Meetup, I've heard of that before, but I've actually never used it. So for those watching, I mean, what is that? Can you sort of describe Meetup, and is it pretty neat?
Yeah, it is pretty neat, and I'm mad with amazing writers.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Wow. So how big is the group? Like when you guys have meetings, you know, you meet at a coffee shop or somewhere locally, and you just kind of do peer editing of your own work, or what? How does that work?
Well, you can bring any kind of work with you that you're writing.
Okay.
It could be a book or a journal.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And how often do you meet?
I think it's based on the date and where it is and the time.
Wow. No, that's awesome. So I want to go back a little bit because you talked earlier about how, you know, growing up, it was tough for you as a person with a disability to kind of stay positive, but then also, you know, how kind of the social behaviors, you know, you enacted were very tough as well. I mean, do you see getting older as a person with a disability and growing up, being an adult woman, do you see the social behavior changing in Ann Arbor, or do you see it staying the same? Because I feel like Ann Arbor has been extremely progressive in being inclusive and including people more with people with disabilities. Would you agree with that?
Well, I'm not really sure, Zach, because I think the government is taking over.
Oh, okay. Okay. But no, so what would you say, what would you say is something that you really enjoy about Ann Arbor? What's your favorite thing about the city?
Well, I don't really have a favorite, Zach.
Oh, no?
I just like advocate for people with disabilities
Mm-hmm.
and try to help them out.
Okay. So do you have a favorite place that you like to go in Ann Arbor, like a favorite shop or a favorite restaurant? Or?
I don't have a favorite restaurant.
Okay.
I've been to a lot of restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
I usually hang out at a coffee place before my karate class.
Oh, nice. And so do you have a favorite memory in Ann Arbor? Say like going to the Ann Arbor Art Fair, because you've grown up in Ann Arbor, right?
No, well, sort of.
Oh, sort of. So did you? Well, okay. So did you go to elementary school here, and then
Yes.
middle school, and then high school, right? You went to high school here. So yeah. I mean, you've been here the bulk of your life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And would you say that Ann Arbor is a great place to grow up?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
My parents really advocated for me when I was in high school
Yeah.
because they don't want me being special ed class
Mhm.
separately,
Mhm.
where my regular friends are in regular ed.
Mhm.
So they really helped me to get into regular ed instead of special ed.
Mhm. Now, so that probably was a challenge for trying to sort of advocate and get into, the regular ed. But would you say that going through that journey was helpful?
Yes.
Because it helped you develop skills to advocate for yourself, right?
Yeah, I had to stand up for myself and see if people can, listen to me. If not, I have to be a broken record.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I think again, you possess a very important skill, and that is speaking up for yourself. I mean, how important do you think it is for people with disabilities to speak up for themselves? Because I have a lot of friends, and I'm sure you do too, that have disabilities, right? And they're so scared to speak up for themselves, right? And to sort of voice what they want or how they feel. But what advice would you say to those friends or to people watching right now about self-advocacy and saying, hey, speak up for yourself. Your voice is important, and if you don't, you won't get what you need.
That's true, Zach.
So what advice do you have for people on speaking up for yourself and self-advocacy?
Well, for self-advocacy is really important. It's because by standing up for yourself and choose what you want in life, it's like you really have to. You really have to try to rub it in people's faces if they don't like it. But I think it's worth it.
But I mean, it's more of I mean, when you say rub in people's face, you mean sort of in a very nice way, though.
Yeah, in a nice way, not in a bad way.
Right. We're not using steel wool, and yeah. But no, I understand what you mean, but I really admire that about you. I mean, one thing that I really like about you as well. I mean, when you're in a crowd of people, the great thing about you is that when you smile, Erin, your smile lights up a room, and you just have this energy that is just so amazing, and people gravitate towards that. I mean, where do you get that? Where do you get that zeal for life, that positive attitude? Do you credit that sort of from, your family and growing up around them and how they've been supportive, or growing up in Ann Arbor, or both? Where do you get that from?
It's actually both, and I always have the positive thinking inside me.
That's awesome. And, I think a positive attitude is, again, extremely important. So can you tell others, too, why a positive attitude is important? And if they do get down on themselves, I mean, what is the technique for people to sort of bring that, to rest? How can they get out of that negative attitude or feeling bad when they've experienced some unfortunate events?
Well, it won't be an offense, Zach. It's mostly about gratitude, what they're happy about.
So sort of just enjoying every moment and then being grateful for the opportunities that you have. Is that right? Wonderful. Now, what other things would you like viewers to know about you, or about the work that you do, or about Michigan Partners for Freedom? Is there anything that you personally want to touch on?
I'm not really sure, but it's like I want people to understand is that I want the community and people know that is that I want them to look at disability people as a person, not a disability person.
Mm-hmm. So we're people first and disability second.
Correct.
That's right. And do you feel that the city of Ann Arbor has embraced that philosophy?
No.
Oh, you don't? Oh, well, do you feel that people in general are embracing that philosophy? Do you feel there's a shift going on?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you
I
don't?
think so.
Oh, okay. Well, I do want to say, though, that I really admire what you do. And I just want to ask that, that you continue to do that. And in saying that, you know, it's interesting how you continue to challenge and set goals for yourself. And what advice do you have for others on how to reach their personal and life goals?
Well, for their personal, well, whenever they have personal goals, it'd be good to contact the caseworker at CSTS or other organization to their caseworker and themselves can find some goals, what they want to work on, and how they can accomplish it.
Mm. And then, sort of going back really quick, you stated that you felt that Ann Arbor, unfortunately, was not sort of moving forward in the viewpoint or in the social views of people with disability in terms of inclusion. So what do you feel are some things that could be improved?
The things I want things to improve on Ann Arbor is that I want them to look at us as a real person, not a disability person, and we are not things, we're people.
No, that's exactly right. And again, going back, I want to talk a little bit about, you know, what you're doing right now in Ann Arbor. I mean, can you talk about some of the things that you're doing currently with Michigan Partners for Freedom?
I don't know it now.
Oh, okay. So what other organizations have you worked with in the past other than Michigan Partners for Freedom? Can you talk about them?
Yes, yeah, thank you. Well, the thing is, I used to volunteer at Association for Community Efficacy.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about what that is?
Um, they help with families with disability, um, disability people like me, and I feel like I want the ACA to help those kids who has different kinds of disability problems and try to do better out in the community.
Mm-hmm. And would you say that specific organization is beneficial to be involved with?
Yes.
Wonderful. So you would recommend people to get involved with it. Do they have a website that they can go to?
I think it's WashingtownACA.org, but I'm not really sure.
Okay. No problem. And how long were you involved with them?
A long time.
Yeah. Wow. So was it years then that you were involved?
Yeah, it was years.
Wow. Now, also, I've heard that, of course, there was some big films coming out in the last year. So have you seen any good films lately?
Well, I saw the new Star Wars
Oh, you did?
movie.
Oh my gosh. So how was it? What was your opinion?
I really liked it.
Oh, you liked it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think that the next few coming up are going to be pretty good?
I hope so.
Yeah? Do you have a favorite Star Wars?
Not really.
Okay. Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I'd like to thank Erin McMahon for joining me in studio and hope that all of you can join us for Ann Arbor Inclusive next month. Thank you for understanding. Stay awesome, Ann Arbor.